Aftershock.
Aftershock XL.
Aftershock XL.
Steve Grillo.
Top Shelf Liquor.
Top Shelf Liquor.
Each week, the former Howard Stern intern will interview celebrities and his eclectic friends.
Grillo, what's going on out there? You were my #1 man. I don't give that role to anybody.
Sharing twisted tales of debauchery.
And I'm just dumbfounded.
This is Aftershock XL.
I did mute myself before. Sorry about that. I'm learning so many new things. I appreciate everybody. Volume's back. So sorry about that, but I'm just on so many different new things. It's like I'm like a kid in a store. A new kid in a candy store. Hi, everybody. Tuesday sucks because it just does, right? It's the furthest. It's Monday's sort of like a fresh new start, and then Tuesday makes you realize that you still have 3 more days to get to Friday. and learning is awesome. I have learned a lot. And G Wharf Fiend, I wonder what that means. I gotta see if G Wharf Fiend 9717. Vodka is always good to help with a horrible day. So I was just on the phone with one of my guests, is a comedian friend of mine, Michael Wheels Parisi, who's used to open for Dice, and he has a lot of big different things going on. He just happened to call at the moment I decided to jump on, and I have all these fun tricks and new things. Like I got a background and stuff, and we have Jennifer Flowers coming on tomorrow. If anybody does remember who Jennifer Flowers is, she was Bill Clinton's girlfriend while he was governor of Arkansas. And she's going to come on and tell a bunch of really cool stories that are true. I've heard of Guar. I don't know anything about them. I know they have some really cool fucking outfits, costumes, and I know they're badass considering that they have like a gimmick like Kiss, and much like Kiss, which I'm not a big fan of, but they do have some talent. Like Kiss has some great sounds. I just don't really like Gene Simmons. He and Paul Stanley for that matter. They both annoy the crap out of me. I was at Scores one night. This is before the Kiss resurgence, and Gene Simmons was doing a book signing. And I was at the bar with Lonnie, and I'm not a big fan of Gene Simmons to begin with, but he had a book out, and Gene was there. And considering it was Kiss fans, the Kiss Army and shit, there weren't that many people. I would say there was maybe 60, 70 people online, considering it's Gene Simmons, and he's doing a book signing at a strip club, which would be much more enticing than at Barnes & Noble. But this one guy was there before Scores even opened. He wanted to be first in line to see Gene Simmons and get his new book autographed. So finally, right before Gene comes out, his publicist comes out and makes an announcement to the line. Gene will only be signing books. He's not signing anything else. So when you go up there, say hello, give him your name, he's going to sign, and then you move along. So the guy that was there before Scores even opened was nervous. He was holding a Kiss album in his hand, and he went up he was the first one there, and he goes, Gene, I've been waiting here since 3 o'clock. I'm your biggest fan. Your music means the world to me. He goes, this album was given to me by my father 2 weeks before he died of cancer. When I was 11 years old, this album is my connection to music and to you and to my father. I know you said you're only signing books, but it would mean I will never resell this. This album is my life. And Gene Simmons turned his back on the guy like this. And the guy turns around and loses it on Gene Simmons. You cocksucking motherfucker. How dare you fucking do that to me? You turn your back on me. I came all the way out. There ain't nobody on this line. Look, there's only like 50 people here. And you're going to do this? You should be signing my ass. And I'm at the bar going, yeah, give it to him. I was like, how hard is it to go like this? The guy just told you that his father gave it to him on his deathbed. And you can't have the respect to just sign a goddamn stupid album. So whatever little respect I did have for Gene Simmons at that moment went out the door. And that's my Gene Simmons story. This boring story brought to you by Sterling as well. Why is that? How is that boring, Ryan? It's a Gene Simmons story, and it's got scores and titties. It's got all the great parts of a story. Handsome Pete hopefully you'll be here tomorrow. Thank you for asking. Yeah, I'm always stirring shit up. And by the way, I do have a heart, and I did see some karmic stuff. The poor guy was crying that he lost everything, and I know for a fact that I double checked to see if somebody was I gave somebody access to be a moderator on my channel, not Oscar Electric, by the way. And I thought maybe they would be able to. I know it's not me that has anything to do with karmics, but there is a page on anybody's YouTube channel. You can see, and you can't remove it. I took a screenshot of it, so anybody has anything to say, I know I didn't do anything. Like the guy's like heartbroken. He's like crying on the air. He just lost his whole thing. It is the content detection area of your YouTube channel, and mine is empty. So I did not, or nor would I strike anybody for talking smack about me. So I feel kind of hard for the guy. Like, I really have no animosity towards him. He decided to just grab me and shake the cage a little bit, and he got a lot of views for it. Hooray for him! But he doesn't know me, and I don't know him. So he decided just to go crazy and use me as a whipping boy, and that's cool. But I would not take away his right to free speech and to also make money. That's not who I am. But there is a reason why it must have gotten stricken, because he pissed somebody off and they weren't having it anymore. But and YouTube, from what I understand, is very difficult once you do get stricken to sort of rectify yourself, because you're not dealing with, like, it's not like you can call an 800 number and go, yo, what the hell? Can't we fix this out? But it was crazy. So I have no clue about the Dabbleverse shit. I'm assuming that's where he's from. Yeah, he's a Dabbleverse guy, but the guy's free speech. Yeah, free speech. Well, it is free speech on here. Am I crazy? Chileno, you mean man? It's an opportunity to speak yourself, but he must have done something to piss somebody off. He didn't piss me off. I really don't dive too deep in the Dabbleverse pool. It's just something I'm here to do. I'm just here to promote tomorrow. Jennifer Flowers is going to be on. You guys can ask some super tip questions, and I'm going to be honest. There's going to be no bullshit. Anybody has something stupid, it's not going to happen. She just happens to be a very good friend of mine who can handle herself. But if anybody's going to ask, like, silly questions, I'm gonna have to be very. I'm gonna have to filter a little bit. Like I know you guys like to take a little too far. Here, cilantro. Welcome to coffee. I don't really drink coffee too often, which is why it's fun for me to drink it, because I get really like a good buzz. And I didn't realize I keep coffee in the studio. Say when someone like Danny Miner comes on, he's a big coffee guy, so at least I have coffee for a guest. But every once in a while, I'll make a coffee for myself, and I get really hyper. And it feels good because it's almost like having liquid cocaine, but not really. So I'm actually drinking coffee for this show, so I'm gonna be a little hyped up today. I didn't realize how expensive coffee is. When I said, "Oh, running low on coffee in the studio. Let me pick up." I was like, "Yo, since when is coffee like $12 a can?" I was like, "Jesus Lord!" I thought it was gonna be like $3-4 for a can of coffee. Nope, not at all. Which goes to prove how I don't drink coffee. I don't have a coffee maker in my place. Cup of coffee. I know. I've dated girls that so the moment that they get up, they have to have coffee, and I don't know how they can't function without a cup of coffee. I get up, I just need some water, man. That's all I need. I like tea as well. I used to do this when I had a decent sized kitchen. My last apartment was just a studio, and it was cramped. It was like I'm like. It's so wonderful to wake up here in Las Vegas and I have to walk all the way to my kitchen. If I'm doing laundry, I have to walk to the other side of the apartment. It's just at this point last year, what I was at compared to where I am right now is night and day. And it is a wonderful, wonderful change for me. So what I do is I would buy, I like to drink iced tea, but it gets really expensive. And some of the store-bought shit is really... It gets on you. You could tell it's so artificial. So I have a big giant pot, and I throw in a bunch of green tea bags in there, and I boil it and make my own iced tea. And I put a bunch of lemons in there and shit, and it's cheaper. Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern, will be Bobby. There will be Bobby. Don't know what that is, bud. Gorilla farts. Yeah. controlled by Shuli. Yes, it's called gorilla farts. They're much worse than human farts. Yeah, moving on up. So, yeah, I have all these new features now. I can go take a break. Isn't that cool? I'd like to thank the person that did it, but they would like to remain anonymous, but they are absolutely they should be in a college teaching classes because they're very patient and they're very insistent on you learning so many features. Well, now I could, if I want to play a video, I could play a video in this, and then if I have two people, I could have two people watch a video, and if I have three people, I have three people that could watch a video, and if I have four people, I have four people that could all watch a video here on my YouTube channel. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm very happy what's going on. I feel a lot more comfortable doing the show. And I go back to Solo, Han Solo. Today's Cinco de Mayo. It doesn't really affect me, but I do know in New York, it's Cinco de Mayo. It always get dangerous because it's the Mexican St. Patrick's Day. And they really love Cinco de Mayo. So you always had to keep two eyes open. Or just... It's so funny. In New York, I don't know if it happens out here. Probably not because it's a different culture. But there's bars, and Irish people like to go to bars. But Mexican people love to hang out in the bodega. They will get a six-pack right out of the fridge, and they all hang out in the back. And I'm sure it's a lot cheaper than going to a bar. They're their own bartender. And they'll all get a couple of crates and gather in the back of a bodega and have their fun. So I don't know if they do that out here, but they don't like bars. They like bodegas to hang out and do their drinking. So, but it is Cinco de Mayo, and it's the Mexican St. Patrick's Day. I know there's probably some connection to Cinco de Mayo, and there's a story behind it, but I like full of features. Yeah, Cinco de Mayo. Simple shit like this, advertising your book. John never bothered to think of this after all those years. Kelp. I'm sure John knows how to promote a book, but there's a lot of people still talking about what happened on, was it last Thursday? And I did watch it, and it was, you're 60, stop talking about hanging out in bars. Not 60. No, I got another 7 years for that, buddy. Ching chong chow. Wait, and you guys have your New Year? Chinese New Year is like your St. Patrick's Day, right? And I haven't been to a bar in a while. Rolling in the dough yet? I'm very comfortable. I got to be honest. It's nice to be comfortable and relax and not have to worry about a lot of shit. So, and Friday, Tony Bennett's daughter is going to be on. Probably around 3:30, about the same time. I'm trying to be consistent, about 3:30. So Tony Bennett's daughter will be on to talk about her dad and all her new music. And see if I can get some guests to come on with her. She's absolutely wonderful. She's one of my really close friends. And she's going to come on. She has she's got such a sweet voice. The one great story I have about her is that she came to town. It was Tony's last performance with Lady Gaga at Radio City. So she called me up and I went over to hang out with her before she went to Radio City. And she was really nervous because she just didn't know exactly what was going to happen. They had obviously contingency plans if Tony got out there and he lost a little bit of a step, or if he had a moment because he did have Alzheimer's. And Lady Gaga was supposed to fill in if he came in, and I met her after the show. We met up, and she was like so happy because she said, Steve, the moments the light hit my father, he jumped back into his head and he did the whole entire show without missing a beat. So that was pretty cool. But she's got a lot of great stories about that. And yeah, we'll tell the stories when she's on. But so Antonia Bennett will be on Friday. I'm working on getting someone for Thursday. It's so hard to nail people down. I'm doing all the shit myself. You gotta understand. So it's there's a thin line between persistence and annoyance. So I'm quietly easing into some people, And I'll probably, some people will be like co-hosts, and we'll be able to talk, and other people I'm just gonna interview. So I want to like to keep the audience involved. But when it gets to someone like Jennifer Flowers, I'm gonna interview her for a while and then take questions later. Because I sort of like what happened with Billy West. I need to concentrate when I'm interviewing somebody. Because it's like, it's not even, I try not to even like make like an interview. Like, I don't like to have a list of questions. I want to keep it like a conversation. A very good person close to me named Tim Sabian said, keep it a conversation. And you seem to be doing that. Just keep that in mind. Chelino, here we go. Grillo, did you ever think that after all your Howard Stern stuff and whatever you've done that you'd be doing a crappy show? Chelino, the funny thing is, yes, but I wouldn't think that you'd be listening. So that's the difference. Jason Kaplan, I wouldn't mind having Cappy on. Peanut butter, jelly time. Grillo, Sterling John versus Ronnie Mund in 1999. If they had to scrap, who would win? John would beat the crap out of him. I can tell you that. Ronnie, it was just I'm not 60. God damn it. The funny thing was, if you want to talk about that, no, Ronnie had no business being security because I don't know, like someone would run through him like a paper bag. But he did stop the guy that tried to kill Howard. I'll give him props on that. I love Ronnie to death, but. When my book came out about this time last year, the New York Post did like a 2-page article on me, and the guy was fact-checking me like a bunch of times, and then the last time he fact-checked me, he said, how old are you? I said, I'm 52 years old. And somehow or another, before the article came out, he must have panicked and looked up how old John was, so he put me at like 58 in the article, and I got so much shit from all my friends for being a lot older than I was. I still get a little flack from that, but the guy felt so bad. Anyway, what's that? Did you ever say things back to me, Grilly? You'll pay for that. So wait, you can say things to me, but I can't say things to you? Okay. Any thoughts about the complete collapse of Levyverse comedy empire worldwide and the implications of comedy worldwide, especially in Turkey? What? I don't know anything about the whole thing about Levy. I know Levy's been very good to me. He did my show when I had it in Times Square in New York. And he's funny. We did a roast once in Long Island. I don't know him. I do follow his son, Dom. He's a very talented musician. And that's that. But... Chelino, why, what do I have to pay for? I don't understand. You make a joke, I make a joke. That's how this world works. I have to pay for it now? Shame on you, Chelino. I thought you were better than that. But, oh well, who's John? I don't know. Whiskey-soaked keyboards. Oh, so, yeah, I'm just, Tuesday is just so slow. On Long Island, dumbass. Okay. I don't understand. So anyway, gonna have another sip of coffee. Anybody got anything to say? You gotta pay your dues. I have paid my dues. Believe me, I paid my dues and then some. And I've paid my dues more so than anybody else in this Dabbleverse. Someone else like Anthony Cumia, he's paid his dues. Shuli's paid his dues. Even John's paid his dues. So my dues are in full, paid in full. Okay, sir, please explain. How have I conned a lot of people? Do you see me with a tin cup and a GoFundMe? No. Do you asking me to? Am I asking you for money? No. If you want a super tip, that's fine. If you don't, that's your prerogative. It's your prerogative. Anyway, I definitely have paid my dues. You have ever run your nuts on Howard's potato? No. That is absolutely. I've worked in the food business my whole life, and that is just a big no-no. Even if the people even if there was one really bad table and this other way, there's people were just making everybody miserable, and the waiter, there was somebody I work with, they asked to have this steak wrapped up. They were sent home, and the waiter accidentally threw it in the fucking garbage. And he was so scared that he took it out of the garbage and put it back, and I told him not to, but he did it anyway. All right, Shalino, what's going on now, Grilly? I'm here, yes. Now I'm listening to you. Maybe 25% listening. Yesterday was a prime example with Cupcake. No, I appreciate everybody coming on. You know, it's not that hard to say thank you, and I thank you all for paying attention. And this is practice for me. I'm just developing something here, and you guys are a part of it. And I think it's great. How am I on here trying to hustle, Flinster? How am I hustling? Do I have a GoFundMe? Do you see me asking you for money to help, my arm or my lawyers? That's a hustle. I'm not hustling anybody. I've been doing this for a long time. Why don't you go to my YouTube page and see how old my shows are? In fact, I've been doing this probably since 2006. So I don't see what the hustle is. I'm just doing something that I happen to enjoy doing, and I'm getting paid for it. So where's the hustle? Explain the hustle. You want to bring out accusations, back it up. Nope, I got no one to sue. I don't see the point of suing. Like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna get? How long is it gonna take to get into the courts? How long is it gonna take to go to trial? What are you gonna see? You're not gonna see anything for. Yeah, if you could sue somebody and get the money tomorrow, fantastic. Oh, low-key zinging Shuli for the 2 GoFundMe, I'm telling you. What GoFundMe? I don't have a GoFundMe. I don't like suing people. I don't like striking people. I don't like grifting people. I don't like fucking doxing people. It's kind of simple just to be a human being. Maybe many other people don't see that, but that's the way I feel. Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah. I did not jerk him off, that's for sure. Sue who? Sue everyone. Johnny Brennan, who's a good friend also, he, I don't know why, he just doesn't want to do any publicity or anything. I talk to Johnny all the time on the phone. Thank you. But no, Johnny Brennan, who's from the Jerky Boys and Family Guy, he plays Mark Goldman on Family Guy. I go back a long time with him. I was a fan from day one. Like, I remember running home from school and all we did was play the Jerky. It was probably like one of the first viral things ever before any computers or anything, when it was just Atari. The tape went from one person to record, it just got duplicated and handed around high schools, and everybody was listening to the tapes. Everybody was doing all the voices. It was just an amazing thing. And then the funny thing is, Johnny Brennan's aunt lives down the block, down the road from my place upstate. So, like, at the same time I was playing his tapes up at the campground, he was down the road at his aunt's house during the summer. Very odd. Yeah, he's a big squirter. So it was very messy. No, he blocked me. By the way, he said it on air. He blocked me. I'm fine. I wouldn't know if he blocked me. I'm not ever going to call that guy again. So, yeah, my mom, no. My mom would not want to live with me. I can tell you that. She's a smart woman. I told John you were suing him. He believed me. Don't make a liar out of me. I have no reason to sue anybody. This is a fucking YouTube show. Come on. I get what's going on, but Shuli is suing John. Sued Shuli. Now Anthony Cumia is suing John. Now someone else is suing. Like, you understand how, like, I get why Anthony's doing it. But it just seems like too much work to sue somebody, to strike them down. I come, I do my happy little show, and then I go and I live on my life. I don't go on to YouTube or anything like that. I'm very content with everything that's going on here, and I don't mean to. I'm not here to. There was a couple of people yesterday that so this is from yesterday. Just letting you know, Karmic is on X saying he has email from YouTube showing your email address as the person that reported him. Stuttering John told him to. No, that did not happen. So, and then there was another one that was played that I didn't play. This one. Oh, that's not the one. Sorry about that. And this one. Who knew you reported Karmic's channel? Grillo, laugh now, but it ain't going to be funny when Karmic gets you back. He knows your tricks. Yeah, that's just not happening. I didn't do anything like that. But they were up there from yesterday. I didn't get a chance to put that up, but thank you very much for the super tips. Much appreciated. Is this live? Last time I checked. Shuli has a second GoFundMe to sue John for strikes now. What's your opinion? Shuli has John for strikes. I think that you got to protect yourself at all times. With John, you got to have your both hands up. And, but Shuli they're both equally at each other's throats, and nobody's backing down. And that's like, I guess who's really wins at the end? You can't watch Shuli, you can't watch Karmic, you can't watch John. It's like you guys are chasing your tails. I don't understand. I don't get it. But I will say I do appreciate Shuli for who he is, and he's always been great to me, and I have nothing bad to say about the man. He's got his hustle going on with his channel, and God bless. I don't get into the dirty part of the whole thing. I'm really here to just do a show and interview people and shit. I come on here to talk with everybody, see what's going on, but I plan on just filling my week with guests and just coming on and doing my show, building up my numbers, and that's that. You want to come and hang out with me? That's fun by me. Calm says he knows where you're at on his way in Vegas. I would love to meet him. You want to pick a corner? I'd be happy to meet him, shake his hand. What's he gonna do? Beat me up? I don't roll like that. So, but it's nice to see everybody. John, when will you have Scarlett Hampton on? I don't know who that is, but anytime. I think you've peaked. What's your goal number, Gilly? I don't have a goal number. I'm just going to let it go. Let it flow. Let yourself go. Slow and low. That is the tempo. Red Dragon, thank you so much. Much appreciated. Sorry about the distraction. Oscar, no, never. Peanut butter pancakes. Let's see what you have to say. Sounds like you've mastered plan this Grillo, so they're all X each other out. Is that the plan? Yeah, I got everybody striking each other so I could have all of YouTube to myself. That's brilliant. Why didn't I think about that, buddy? I don't know. I would do Rob Saul's show tonight. He didn't ask me, but I would do it. I like Rob. And he's got a set of balls on him, too. God bless him. He didn't back down from John at all. And Rob seems like a good dude. And he's got his life together. And that's a good thing. My goal is, I want 1 million followers. I want to take over the world, Chileno. This is my goal. I have goals that are being reached every month. Believe me, I got people watching what I'm doing. And they're very happy so far. And it's all about them. So I got some shit in the works. Don't worry. I'm not just out here to do this show. Things take time. Trust me. I didn't make it all the way this far to Vegas to fall on my face. I'll tell you that. There ain't no fail. I will keep doing it. Peanut butter pancakes. Rob is striking season 2, folks. Keep clipping. Rob said it's striking season 2 if folks keep clipping. Oh, I'm not here to clip anybody. Not here to strike anybody. Joe Blow, this podcast is going to end worse than Brent's. I don't know who Brent is, but I hope not. You had 30 viewers and made no money yesterday. Why would you be happy? Because. Why not be happy? I didn't have 0 viewers. I had 30. Got to learn how to keep up the positivity, son. But tomorrow I won't have 30 viewers, and Friday I won't have 30 viewers. Yesterday I just threw that show at the last minute so I could practice with my new toys and Eevee mugs. And the more I do it, the better I get at it, the more professional I look. So there you go. Could I pay you to chug something? I don't know. I'm not a good chugger. I'd be the worst gay boyfriend ever. I have a really bad gag reflex. Looney Tunes would be a good pet as Grillo's. Looney Tunes would be a good get as a guest, Grillo. Who's Looney Tunes? Wear a sweater and dress like a 60-year-old. Okay. Ching Chong Chow. I love that name. We want Flowers. Jennifer Flowers will be here tomorrow, everybody. This time tomorrow, she will be a guest on my show. And she has some really interesting things to say about Mr. Bill Clinton that she revealed to me on a show. It was probably the first show that I did, and it was just when the Epstein files came out. And there was a lot of heat on the Clintons at that moment. And I really didn't even know how to run StreamYard at all, but I pieced together something, and it didn't come out right. But it'll be extremely professional show tomorrow, and I will deliver the goods. John implied you came out to Vegas and drove into the DV because you're broke. No, not at all. He doesn't know anything. He thinks he likes to make... for someone that my whole... dealing with him and my relationship with him, he bragged about how honest he was, and he's not. That was his staple. You know me, Grill. I'm honest. I tell the truth. He's lying right there. You seem very negative tonight. What's the issue, man? No issue. I'm very chill. And yes, that is. He did ask Jennifer Flowers if Bill Clinton wore a condom. And she smiled because obviously he didn't. Anytime you ask somebody, did you wear a condom? And they hesitate for a second, you know they didn't. So, but he said that they only had one night. First he denied it, and then he said he had one night with her, and then lied about the 8 years they were together. I think it might have been 12 years they had a relationship, him and Jennifer, and she'll let her come on and talk about it, because she tells a lot of freaky, kinky things that they did. He liked to wear her nightgown, and it was a blue nightgown, so that painting of Bill Clinton in Epstein's house, we're going to talk about that tomorrow. I was talking about this earlier. I should do there's a whole kitchen here. I should do a cooking show, because I know how to cook. I'm not a chef, but my mother, God bless her, she taught me and my sister how to cook. When I was a kid, playing with knives and fire was prohibited unless you were in the kitchen. And guess who liked to play with knives and fire? Me. But my mom made it fun in the kitchen, and I sort of was able to adapt where I make my own shit. I can cook on my own. I cook every night. My problem is I only cook for me. So I have a lot of happy neighbors. They want to know. I basically feed half my complex, because my freezer is full of chicken soup, sausage and peppers, chili. Everything that I make, I sort of just put it in the freezer and then hand it out like a soup kitchen. But, and people can you go, can you go out and do homeless interviews? I wouldn't want to mess with the homeless out here. They seem pretty, tough. Rumor has it, if you had a 3-day threesome with Stuttering John, what the fuck, dude? Let the rumors flow, baby. I love it. The smoking lesbian. Oh, I met you in Vegas. What are you up to on Tuesday? I'm doing a very fun show right now. Smoking lesbian. That's where we had a nice little conversation at the bar. Correct? Sounds like Artie's freezer. But I love they're just making shit up. This is fun. Girl, does Stuttering John have his nuts, or is he lying? How about this? Let's have a contest. Who can make up the biggest lie about Stuttering John? I'm going back to watching paint dry. Yes, it's much more interesting than what I'm doing. I would definitely go get a bucket, knock yourself out. No, I didn't. I was very public. It's in my book. Hold on, you're going to make me do it. If you want to find out more about my story with Ralph, I'm gonna punish everybody for asking me questions that are all in my book. You have to go buy it. I'll go back to watching paint dry too. I like watching paint dry. You know, it's fun when you get a chalkboard and then you put like, you clean a chalkboard with some water and then you watch that dry. You should try that. That's a little more interesting than what's going on right now. Yeah. On his deathbed, I'm sure Ralph was talking about me. That's too fucking funny. I don't know. Peanut Butter, he was a musician. I would imagine his hands were kind of rough. Callous. Probably hurt on the way in. Yeah. No, that didn't happen, Joe Blow. You're going to make me... It's in the book. That's it. Now you're making me do this. It's in the book. Don't make me click the book. I don't know about that. He told Cumia that... John told Cumia the gay stuff together. I didn't hear that, but I would think that with you people in this arena, you wouldn't forget about that, and it would be a very prevalent thing that people would be talking about constantly if that did happen. What's LMF? I can't pronounce that. What's LMFAO? Amphao? I don't know what that word is. Now you can laugh your ass off. Thanks, Joe Blow. Someone got the book. Appreciate it. Oh, you were the guy that got the book. Thank you very much, Joe Blow. Oh, that would be a horrible fucking sight to see. Right there. Just awful. I have not tried Vegas chili dog. Is that a thing? I like going specific to fun food things. I did not give up my cat for adoption, Flinster. He is with my sister, and I will be bringing him back when I come back from my trip to New York. And I can't wait because that's my guy, my little upgrade. And I can't wait for him to try out his new home. But I have several trips I have to make back and forth to New York in the next couple of months. And when I come back for my permanent slot here in Vegas, Upgrade will be with me at his new home, and I can't wait. Stop chipping me. Who's on people? It isn't a good look. Stop chipping me, Grillo. Picking on people isn't a good look. You're right. Oh, that's disgusting, dude. Oh, I don't even know what that is, but it has anything to think to what I would think was going on downtown on Ava. Yeah, I would think there'd be some type of blue cheese involved. I don't know. I haven't found any cheap whores out here, guys. I do. Oh my God. Here we go. Now we're talking. I do have an audio version of my book. It's on Audible, so you can listen to my book on Audible. In fact, you know what? I should probably. I don't know if I could pull up a quote. I'm gonna see if I can find something, guys, and I'm gonna use one of my new things. Give me 2 minutes. I'm gonna be right back. Okay, it's not on this computer. I have to get it on this computer. But I did a bunch of things that were all like sort of stories in my book. I actually went to the place, like I went to the apartment, the famous apartment that John had, that me and Ganji lived in. I went to Scores, the original Scores, where that's definitely a place my life changed. I went back to my house in Brooklyn, and we did a little tour of Canarsie, and where Henry Hill said the dead bodies were buried, and where the Bamboo Lounge was, where I used to wait for the bus. I waited for the bus. The actual Bamboo Lounge was right behind me, but it wasn't the Bamboo Lounge. It burnt down before we moved into Canarsie. But the actual where the Bamboo Lounge was, Avenue N and Rockaway Parkway, that's where I waited for the bus every day, and I didn't find out it was the Bamboo Lounge until years later. And then Henry Hill told me that there were dead bodies buried on Rockaway Parkway and Avenue L in front of the bank. And that's not a bank anymore, but it still has the night deposit box and the foundation, so it was a bank. And all those stories are in my book. Yeah, my friend Vic Legina has a book called Filth. Thank you very much, by the way. And he was one of the guys that helped start Brazers, the porn channel. He was like a director for pornography for many years. And he has a book out. And what he did was, and his book would be a lot better than what I would do, but like all the stories about the different porn stars, he actually reenacted them and in like this cheesy, awesome form. So, I want to take a little page from Vic Legina and do something like that with my book, because there are some fun things. Is it true Meadow was licking down James Garden? No, that's not. As like he really thought of her as his daughter. My pupils are bugging. I don't see it. It's probably the coffee, dude. Told you, I don't drink coffee. And when I do, it gets me going. Grillo, okay. Chelino, here we go. Grillo, when you get your channel monetized, read your book for members only and make memberships $2. You'll make more off the book like that. Thank you, Chelino. That's not a bad idea. Well, I don't know, but it might be viewed as grifting. I don't know. I don't want to offend all these people with the grifting thing. Peanut butter, I appreciate the concern. Luckily for me, I don't like to gamble. I had my buddy Mason Reeson last week, and he's a gambler, and he actually taught me how to play 3-card poker, which is pretty simple. It's if anybody knows how to gamble, you know what 3-card poker is. And I watched him win like $1,300, and then I watched him lose $1,300. And I like that. To me, that's just ludicrous. If you got the money, extra money, and you want to spend it that way, that's fine. But I don't. You're constantly chasing that win, and the odds are stacked against you, bro. So I did wind up playing with him 2 days later. He just, because I was sitting there watching him, and he got annoyed with me. He just gave me $100. He goes, "You lose it, you lose it." So that's that. I could play that clip for you if you want. What show was the MC Search and DMC? Oh, that was from. Would you guys want to watch that? I could probably pull that up if you want to give me a second. I'm friends with both DMC and MC Search, and during COVID, when I was doing all my shows from my house, I happened to have MC Search on, and I surprised them with DMC, and they were really good friends. Third Base used to open up for DMC back in the day when they first broke out on the scene, and they hadn't seen each other in a while, and Search had no idea that I had DMC in the wings, and he surprised them. That's not true. I have people that are millionaire friends that don't gamble. Why? What's the thing? You know, I'd rather spend my money on something like, you know, that's like solid, like a hooker or something. You know, at least you get something out of it. If I've been here, I have done a couple of things that if I spent $80 gambling the whole time I've been here, that would probably be an overestimate. But my grandmother, God rest her soul, she was so amazing. She loved going to Atlantic City, but she had this cool thing. It was a tube that you put quarters in, and there was a line, and the line said Atlantic City. So when you saved up enough quarters, that's when you went to Atlantic City. But she just enjoyed going playing the slots, She was the happiest little old lady playing slot machines. So if I see a certain slot machine that reminds me of her, I'll put $20 in, and I usually lose. And it's usually my grandmother saying, "You could have done something better with that $20." So I just, I don't. I walk through. I'm in a casino 3 or 4 times a week. I have no calling to those. And the way the slot machines are these days, I don't really want to understand them. There's so many different ways, different levels to go ahead and win, and I don't get it. I don't like it. So it's kind of. I'd rather do something else with my money. I'd rather go have a steak and enjoy it, and then where it's like you can't have steak if you lose all your money in a slot machine. So that's that. Yeah, where's Chauncey? I love Chauncey is the one who got me in all that big trouble. I love when he shits on John. Yeah, I didn't bring him on to piss John. No, I didn't bring him on for him to come on and shit on John. But John was like, in the back of my head, I know he said he wanted to get Chauncey on. And I know Chauncey wouldn't do his show, so I had to get Chauncey on. And I didn't think he liked that too much because when he turned on me, it wasn't a big deal for why he got mad. He got mad at something that was just like, he didn't like the way I didn't stick up for him or something like that. So he went off on me, and I just think it was just basically he was pissed that I got Chauncey and he didn't. I got Billy West, he didn't. And I'll have Jackie the Joke Man on soon, and Jackie would never do his show. So I think those things in the back of his head probably started to scratch, and he had to scratch that itch, whatever. However you may want to use a metaphor to describe what happened, but it didn't take much for John to actually show his true self with me being here like less than a month before he started to lose it on me. That story Chauncey told about Stuttering John getting upset that he wasn't included in the top 50 comedians is hilarious. Imagine that. Yeah, John, what's that? Jealousy is not a river in Egypt. Oh, that's the Nile. Fred did not get Billy West fired. Actually, Fred loved Billy West. Billy West, basically, it was Mel Karmazin wouldn't give Billy West a full-time position. And I was there the day Billy left. And Billy's told me the story. He wanted to go to L.A., but before he went to L.A., but he wanted to make sure that, to give it a try to be a full-time member. And nobody wanted to let go of that money. And I'm sure Howard had something to do with it. Because if that means that maybe, his budget went down, his salary went down, having another on-air talent, especially someone is like Billy West, who was way too talented for that show anyway. It wasn't something that he wanted to. And the other thing with John too is, Mancow. He wanted Mancow. He was he was already asking me to get some of the guests that are friends of mine. Like Mancow. He wanted Mancow to come on his show. Mancow went on YouTube and looked at his show and said, "I'm not doing that guy's show." And I actually, against my better wishes, when Mancow asked me, should I do a show, I said yes. And I knew that I can get myself in trouble with that because it's not just I'm friends with Mancow. It's our mutual friends that make me friends with Mancow. And if I would have done something to disrespect Mancow, my friends that are mutual friends would have been not happy with me at all. So that's what happens. So Mancow said he went on YouTube and he saw what John was doing. He goes, "I don't want anything to do with that. No part of that." And Jerry steals info from Grillo. I wouldn't, I can't say I know that for sure, but I wouldn't be shocked. Jerry since called me and said, he knows that I didn't dox him, and that's all I needed to hear out of his mouth because I didn't. And I said, okay, very much, that's cool. But, I just realized the hard way that guy is not very well liked in this universe. And I have to keep my distance from him. So I can't say for sure that he did anything to me. But it's very odd how insistent that Stuttering John forced his friendship on me. When at first I was like, okay, and we kept going. Did you call Jerry? Did you call Jerry? Did you call Jerry? Did you call Jerry? I'm like, no, I got things to do. So finally I called him up, and I met him, and he seemed like a nice guy, but I had no idea what position he had with John. He just said he was a guy that helps him out, but I didn't know that he was, doing his dirty work, and I found that out the hard way. But that's the way life is. You make a mistake, you live with it, and you don't make the mistake a second time. Put that in the chat anyway. Oh, he's definitely not involved at all with me whatsoever. Like I said, I learned my lesson. I got it. The guy's no good. So you can't be mad at me for making a mistake and then owning up to it. Or you can. These people are crazy. I don't mind. Has John touched you in a bad place? You guys are a little horny today. So maybe before my show, rub one off, and you can. You don't have to do that. It won't be so sexually oriented. No, I don't care. I don't just throw it at me. If it's funny, I'll put it through. So, but apparently did you? Oh my God, that's so wrong. No, I didn't. Oh, you people are brutal. So, Oscar. The other people that I got, like Oscar and especially American Cupcake, two people have been very good to help me out, get me through these weeds they call the Dabbleverse. Help me understand what the hell's going on, who's good, who's bad, who hates each other. Like I'll do so many people, some of these guys. You want to come on my show? I'm like, sure. If I have nothing to do, if I'm home, if I didn't have sometimes I just smoke too much and I'm an idiot, so I wouldn't do that. I did that once or twice. I don't want to do that again. And plus, I don't want to look like him. But usually I'll do somebody's shows, but I don't know when I do these shows who hates who. You went on his show? Then you're like him. I'm gonna have. Did you harass Howie Mandel? Like, no, I didn't, and I'll tell you exactly what happened. John left me alone in the hallway, and when he left me alone, it was Howie Mandel's door was wide open. He was in the dressing room, ready to go on, and there was just like an awkward kind of silence. He looked at me, I looked at him. He said hi. I said hi. My name's Steve Grillo. You work with my old boss, Howard. I used to work on the Stern Show, and he said, "Oh yeah, how you doing? Nice to meet you." And that was it. But John happened to come back to get me when I just had this awkward. It wasn't even awkward. It was nice. He was like, "Hi." I said, "Hi." That's what you do as a human being. And I just said, "Yeah, you work with my old boss." That's it. And John, of course, what are you talking to the talent for? I was like, he said hi to me first. Like I wasn't going to get into it. But last week Howie was supposed to come on. My friend Dave Nussbaum from Proto Hologram. Howie was calling him to see what time to go on, and he didn't pick up the phone. But that doesn't mean we're going to not relive the Howie Mandel thing. I'd like to have him on, and I'll reach out to Dave Nuzzi. I wanted to give him some time, but it was nice that he had me on, and the Proto Hologram is just amazing, amazing shit. Speak of the Devil 69. Oh yeah, one of my favorite pictures of Ozzy right there. Oh, I would love to get Lucy Tightbox in. She's fun. She's very, very articulate. Start gooning. No, I don't have to. I didn't really, I fooled around with a couple interns, but I knew at that young age that it was dangerous to go down that road. Yeah, Chelino. I was there every day. John would go into an IPO. Whenever the stock market opened at 9 o'clock or whatever, he would take like $1,500, and literally by 11 o'clock, John had like 20 grand in the bank. And the funny thing is, it used to drive Gary crazy because Gary is a smart person. He was like, "John, this doesn't seem right. John, this something," and John would torture Gary and go, "Gary, I just made fucking $20,000." And Gary would shake his head, going, "John, this isn't right. I'm telling you, something's wrong." But John harassed Gary like every day. John was making like $10,000 to $15,000 on these IPOs that would come out, and they would all drop them by 12 o'clock. And like if the IPO was $1, it went up to like $15. So once it went to like when they told him it was peak, they all sold everything and then walked away with a fat pocket. And finally, Gary, after like weeks of John torturing him, saying, I just made this money, Gary finally dropped a couple of G's and did make some money. But Gary knew it wasn't right, and he stayed away from it. John, on the other hand, moved out of the 65th Street apartment down the block to a high-rise building, making all that money off the stock market. I wouldn't say I would be a master electrician by now, but I wouldn't be happy. Not like I am right now. I can tell you that. You know what makes me happy? Being a grip, being a stagehand. The electrician thing was just, I think it came in my life at the wrong time. It was a bad time. It was an awkward time in my life. It was post 9/11, and I'm not blaming what I did on 9/11, but I did sign up for that job because of 9/11. It kind of made me take issue to being an actor and a bartender. Both those things were taken away from me for almost a year because of 9/11. So I kind of reevaluated my life and decided to join the union. But it was a bad time in my life to do that, especially when I had all these opportunities that were coming back at me. Once they started filming again, The Sopranos asked me to come back. I had a lot of resentment doing this, and I wasn't forced into do it, but once I made the decision about 2 years into it, I realized this wasn't for me. I didn't like it, and I didn't get along with the people. It was just a very odd situation. So at that point, I just had to take a step back, and I had to leave. And there was a couple of things, and plus, as an apprentice, you only make like $350 a week. It was like I couldn't live off of that. I was already living. I had a big pile of cash on my dresser from bartending, and I was making all my money that I made from acting or The Sopranos went into another bank account that I saved up. And literally the day after 9/11, everything changed. There was nobody coming into the nightclubs. When I bartended at a nightclub, I could make $400 to $600 a night in cash. I'm not even talking about credit card tips. There was some times where you couldn't push the fucking tips down in the bucket. There was no more room for money, and we'd have to change out the buckets. And we spent about an hour to an hour and a half counting our tips. And I literally had a giant fucking pile of cash on my dresser that I used to pay my rent and my bills. And after 9/11, that pile of cash went poof, gone. And I blew up my credit cards, and I started with the electrical stuff, and I just kept getting more and more in debt because hustling. I couldn't get a real good hustle on because there was school 2-3 nights a week. And then plus you had to be at the job site at like 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. So it was hard to like pick up another gig. Of course I bartended and shit and little things on the weekends, but I never really recovered after all that. I would be retired. No, I wouldn't. That's another thing. You just can't just retire. If I was sanitation or if I was a police officer, I'd be retired. So we have a super tip coming through. Thank you very much. Jacob, John got insider info on the IPOs. He should be in jail. That was a long time ago, but I don't know. He did. He had his friend Marco was a big deal, but Marco went away. He went to jail. Well, yeah, Nola. There was a lot of victims for 9/11, but it's how it impacted on my life. So it's just the victim. It just reiterated what's going on with me. Everybody has their own 9/11 story. Okay, so there was no work for almost a year, over a year, and I had to readjust my life. I always liked Marco. I was cool with Marco. I didn't understand what was going on. At that time in my life, if I did have the money, I knew something was fishy. It seemed like a pyramid scheme kind of thing to me. And I don't know. I almost like my John was like, "Oh, why don't you get your dad to get some stuff going on?" And I ain't gonna bring my dad into this. He works too hard. My dad's such a straight shooter. He wouldn't have done it anyway. Grilly, they finished some scenes from Jaden Smith's movie Life in a Year in my neighborhood. It was a shitty movie. I was looking for you to be around, but didn't see you. I didn't work on the Jaden Smith movie. I did work on I Am Legend, which was an awful, awful movie to be working on. It was because basically we had to make New York look it was uninhabited. So we had to clear out streets for blocks and blocks and blocks. The first day we shot was the shot that he had on the Intrepid when he was shooting golf balls off there. And we literally had to close off about 20 New York blocks to make it look like there was nobody on the streets. And I don't know why, but the production didn't pay the PAs for the first month and a half. And then I wound up walking out in the middle, not in the middle, but I was done. A month and a half, and Will Smith actually had to step in and get them to pay us. They were behind in the paperwork, and we were the last people that they gave a shit about. So I worked for a month and a half on I Am Legend, and I got paid, but they didn't pay us. Woe is me. What do you mean, woe is me, bro? I don't understand. Woe is me. I'm not complaining. Get out of the house and find hookers and drug addicts. What's that, Jacob? Shed is a Mo. Hi, Chloe from Australia. Nice to meet you. So, I just finished mowing the fields and ran over a snake with my John Deere. Hopefully, oh, wow, it's Hunter, New York. I'm coming to town soon. Just finished mowing the fields, ran over a snake with my John Deere. Hopefully, get a hunt before the rain tomorrow. If you're going hunting for turkey, you better be in the rain. They go crazy in the rain. You should get some good gear and go out in the rain. I did not see Will Smith slap anybody. He was actually pretty nice. He didn't have any guys over. He did have the biggest trailer I've ever seen at that moment. His trailer was like 2 levels. Like, and not only had tip outs this way, but it went up this way. Oh, that's cold, son. Chelino, you're cold. You and John are always the victim of circumstances. Everybody is a victim of circumstance. Everybody. You, him, her. Everybody's a victim of circumstance at some point in their life, bro. I'm on here and explaining my shit. You want to tell you just give me your victim of circumstance. I'm sure you got some. It's just the way life is. There's always circumstances. And you deal with them. It's how you deal with the circumstances that makes you who you are. Write that down. Because I'm going to forget. Can it handle the rain? I never had a problem with the shotgun in the rain. Okay. When will this person footing the bill get tired of you mooching? I'm not mooching. We have a plan. In fact, he's very happy with me, to be honest with you. We had a nice conversation about what we're going to be doing yesterday. But we're not going to get into that here because that's a bunch of shit. I think I deal with my situation is awesome. Other people try to throw shit at me, and then I answer the questions, and they got something stupid to say. I don't know what's up with your super tips, but you have read or posted mine in the last 3 shows. Dude, I just got one today. I got a couple from yesterday. I don't know what the deal is. I read yours earlier, buddy. This was yesterday. I put this up earlier. Hold on, let me hide this. But I haven't. Yours came up today, and I just got Jacob Shed just did a super tip, but I did put yours up this because I saw it. I did not see it yesterday. It didn't come up. So, but I apologize. If you want to try again, Jacob Sheds just came through. And but thank you very much. I appreciate it. Okay. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Copy that. But this is this is I didn't think I'd last like 20 minutes. Thanks a lot, guys. And listen, Chloe, I appreciate you. That's very nice of you to say that. But I get it. This is people breaking balls. That's the way it goes. Zach Hoffman. Let's see what he has to say. You're holding on the very last strand of celebrity from 3 decades ago. It was the funniest, saddest thing to see. I never said I was a celebrity. Wait. I'm not a celebrity. I never thought I was a celebrity. There's a difference. I'm just someone. I learned radio from working on Howard Stern's for 8 years. So I'm taking what I learned and using it. But I don't think I'm a celebrity at all. Celebrities make millions of dollars and they have TV shows. I have a YouTube channel. I'm very content for what I'm doing right now. People pointing out the truth aren't assholes. You just don't like the reality of it. No, you're just being jerks, and I understand. You're allowed. I still put up your comments, don't I? I don't know who Carl Hedberger is, and what is he trashing me for? I don't even know him. You know why people are trashing me at this point? Because they're going to get clipped and put on another show and maybe get 2 more listeners. It's like someone I don't even know is trashing me, yet if they do that and I mention their name, they might get clipped and put on another show. I don't know. I don't know who he is. Who is he? Hedberger. Call Hedberger. He likes to give head and have a hamburger at the same time. Yeah, I don't know who he is. So he's not the only one trashing me. I guess someone else was trashing me. They all like try to get my attention, but I don't give a flying fuck. He's in business with Shuli. He's allowed to trash me. I don't know what for. Frank Rizzo. I gotta hire you first, guy. You went on Stern to promote it and needed money for the trailer. You never got it made. What happened? No, I did have it made. It wasn't. It was a conglomerate of bad situations, one after the other. I did raise money, and I did use that money for the TV pilot to be shot. And it was quite the experience. I had a full camera crew, and I really can't get into details of what happened, but I was sort of duped into believing that this person was going to film the script that I wrote. And I found out the hard way that day that the director and the guy who funded it had another story involved in their head, and it had nothing to do with the script I wrote. And when I protested, they told me, we will pack our shit up and leave. We're going to do what we want. And they did. And no, Mason did it for free. Mason got paid. He got paid all right. He got paid with a broken arm. He broke his arm on the set. After we shot the first scene with Mason, he was walking out of the pool area, and he went down and he broke his arm. So we lost Mason literally the first half an hour of the shoot. I will go on. But Shuli hired my ex-boyfriend Looney Tunes critic, then he just dumped him from the show for no reason. Oh, I don't know anything about that. So I saved you from evil Vegas, Jerry. You're welcome, cocksucker. Well, thank you very much, Lily Baker 68, something like that. Better than Hitler podcast. That's yeah. You got to start at the bottom. If you're better than Hitler, you're already ahead of the game. Oh, I get the Chloe from Australia account. Oh, what is it? It's like somebody that's not Chloe from Australia. Am I supposed to like? Oh, she's a girl and she's not one of these dudes. So you got dumped on your own TV show pilot? I don't know how you would consider it dumped. They didn't shoot what I wrote. They decided to take what I did in a different direction, and if I complained about it, they were going to drop it. We did wind up shooting stuff that I would have never done. It wasn't my overall concept. I will find it. I could probably get it by maybe I'll do that on Thursday. I will gladly show you. And then when it came down to editing, I was given a first-year editor in editing school, and it was just a nightmare, one step after another. But I have it. I could play it. It just wasn't what I was. I had a concept in my head, and I wrote it into a script. And they decided the day of shooting that they were going to go with their own concept. And it's Yeah, I'll find the show. What's this guy? I'll super chat you $100 to read a full page from Lord of the Rings book without mispronouncing a single word. Okay, I'll give it a shot. The Toria trailer was better. Do you still have the VCR? Yeah, I do. That's my that's my complete disconnect. When I go up there, I put my phone away, and I have probably like $300 or $400. I had 300 or 400 DVDs and VHS tapes, and that's my entertainment. When at night before I go to bed, or if it's a rainy day, if I feel like watching a movie, or if anybody else wants to come and we watch movies in my trailer. Sometimes I watch them outside, but it's nostalgia. I kind of like it. It's kind of hard because they break down, and then when they break down, you have to find another VHS DVD player, and they're harder and harder to get. But I always find something. I must have like that. I just threw them out last year. I must have like 6 or 7 broken DVD VHS players. The combos that just didn't work. I just kept putting them in the closet. When I realized I could probably use the closet space, I threw them all out. But yeah, good. I'm impressed. Oh yeah, dude, Hunter, I do have my favorite. My favorite E-show was when they went up. They followed me up to the trailer, and I went. We did a mock hunting situation with my buddy, and it was really funny. That was really great. Doug Goodstein came up, and who else was there? Scott DePace all came up and shot me at the trailer, and my mom made like a great dinner for everybody, and that was a really fun day. Very fun day. Okay, I'll have it for you Thursday. Thursday, you want to do a screening of my TV pilot? You got it. I will. I'll figure that out. I was just in touch with the person that was my partner in that TV pilot. I know she has a copy of it somewhere, so I will get a copy of it and I will play it. And we'll work out. I don't know. Some people said I should do some type of paywall or something. I don't know how to do anything like that. Grillo, how was the best whack packer and why is it Beetlejuice? I didn't know Beetlejuice, bro. I've met him like once. He was after my time. I was more like a crackhead Bob. Hank the Angry Dwarf was there towards the end. Nicole Bass, Fred the Elephant Boy, Captain Jenks. And my favorite of all is Kenneth Keith Kallenbach, right next to, I would say, Crackhead Bob. Kenneth Keith Kallenbach was such an interesting person. Like, he was so out there. When I worked in the nightclubs, I used to get him in, and I'd get him a couple of free drink tickets, and then he would come all the way in from Philadelphia to come into the nightclub. And then when the drink tickets, when he drank everything, he would come back and go, "Yo, Grill, I need another drink ticket." I go, I gave you 3. That's all I can give you. So he went to every person that was at the bar at the nightclub and goes, "I'm Kenneth Keith Kallenbach, buy me a drink. I'm Kenneth Keith Kallenbach, buy me a drink." Sure enough, at some point, somebody bought the motherfucker a drink. And then he'd take the bus all the way back to Philly. And he used to come down almost every weekend. And I felt bad because I was like, I just had my dorm room at the time. It was just a bed in a room with a sink. And I was like, I almost wanted to say, "Do you want to crash?" And I was like, if I let him stay, he's never going to leave. And I saw Kenneth Keith 2 weeks before he passed away. I did a guest bartending out somewhere in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. He drove like an hour to come see me. He hung out, and then he tragically died about 2 weeks later. I don't know what the whole story is, Nola. From what I understand, he was harmless, but I can't say I know him well enough I know that he had a really bad intestinal problem. I think he had like Crohn's or something, where I guess they just keep attaching your intestines. They chop out a piece, and he had a lot of scars on his stomach. From what I understand, he picked up a hitchhiker and something happened, and she screamed rape, or maybe he did try to do something. I wasn't in the car, but I do know that when they threw him in the jail cell, he had a flare up of whatever his stomach was, and they ignored him for over 12 hours, and he died in the jail cell. So I think his mom could have had a pretty good lawsuit. I don't know if she did. So that's that. Kenneth was always nice to me, and he was always funny as hell. I always remember him we were in Albany for the Libertarian. Howard he's giving his Libertarian acceptance speech, and of course the first person they brought up was Kenneth Keith to introduce Howard. And Kenneth Keith pulls out the biggest dildo he had hiding in his jacket. He goes, "I got my dildo," in front of all these libertarians, all these. I guess at that point they were all liberal people, and they just nominated Howard to be their candidate, and Kenneth Keith's wailing this giant dildo. It was brilliant. Chino, Kenneth was always nice to the kiddos too. Or yeah, I don't know. Was it Epstein style? I can't answer that. Yeah, you were in the car? Wow. Yeah, I was in the car. It was a rough night. Yeah, the car. Is that what the deal? But you know what? Even if they're faking it, you're supposed to. From what I understand, prisoners, they got to have rights and stuff. If you're ill, they have to do something, I guess. I don't know. I've never been to jail, so. Why do you hate Elegant so much? The audio of him in the cab with Steve Langford is legendary. Why? Because that's another not nice person. I would put Elegant in the same boat as John. Just awful human beings. And that person is an awful, disturbed human being. And I'm surprised they didn't lock that person up, because Elegant. You can go on my channel. There's there was a time where I was starting a network with Aftershock XL. I had Jennifer Flowers had a show. There was Jesse Nash had a show, The Alarmist, and what's her name had a show. It was she had to come to my apartment, and it was a nightmare. She had to go right into the studio, like there was no and then the screaming and yelling. I had to yell at her. She punched my wall one time. And it's a disturbing, manic person that is not fun to be around. I had to bring her down to the courthouse. She had, I had to do something. I got to find that video. It was, it might be on my YouTube channel. If you guys do a little research back, there was a lot of Elegant often on my channel, but there was no good that outweighed the bad. Like it was like to have to handle that person is a goddamn nightmare, and I just couldn't take it anymore. That's gangster talk, right? Yeah, no, that person is really mentally disturbed. Grill, your skin tone is showing certain signs of ligma. My wife had that, and she suffered manic episodes at night of trying to lig my balls. That was great. Elegant was nasty. Oh, picking on my girl Monique, who won't call me back. She's in Spain, by the way. Monique, I don't see much of a resemblance. Sorry. Do I think her and Florentine ever actually smashed? You're talking about Robin and Florentine? She told me he was her boyfriend, so I guess so. Exactly. I would rather be like Oscar Electric. Who doesn't want to be like Oscar Electric? He's amazing. Hello, Gina. Of course, people call me. Don't they know I'm on the goddamn air? Oh, I might have Lilo Brancata on soon. A friend of mine, we have a mutual friend. Lilo, I guess he's not doing his podcast anymore, and we're going to have Lilo on. I've spent many a night with Lilo at the China Club and other different places, but I don't know if he would remember me, considering it was late night, and Lilo was pretty fucked up. He's not fucked up anymore. Sam Price. Well, Sam Price is a client of my guy, Richard. So he is the crypto king. Sam Price is a client of, I'm here because someone's very successful. Collageno will be here. That's correct. Mark Harris was so nice to me. Jim Sharkey. Mark Harris was quite the character. I always loved when he came on. But my famous, the one that I loved so much was Richard Simmons. When he came on, it was just, spread joy throughout the whole room. It was amazing. He always brought something like bagels or breakfast sandwiches, and he always had like a little basket, and he'd come and he'd sit on everybody's lap, and then he'd piss Howard off because he'd start going to the listener lines, and Howard could see what's going on, and he's picking up and he's talking to all the listeners. Richard was just a ray of sunshine every time he came on the show. Make your phone calls pay $2 to answer a phone super chat. Okay. Tomorrow we will be talking about Bill Clinton in a very intimate way. Tomorrow is going to be very, very good. So, yeah. I remember he came, Mark Harris came on the show like right after he had his scrotum fixed. I guess his balls were hanging a little low, and he came on to explain the operation he had and how big his balls got after the operation before they went down. You know, people tried to push me to cameos, and I don't know, I'm kind of like, who would want a cameo from me? I don't know. I didn't really do the cameo thing. I didn't think that, I guess I'm afraid to fail kind of thing. I could go on there and how many cameos you got? None. So, the Super 5. Mutt, yeah, I remember, Mutt was great. You know what? I haven't seen anything. Mutt, I think he just basically really dropped out of the whole scene. Richard and Prince of Tides. Oh my God, that was what Prince of Tides. That would sever their friendship. It was because Howard wouldn't go see Prince of Tide with him, and I can understand that fully. Oh, vodka's going down easy today. I don't hide my drinks. Someone said that they saw John pouring vodka into his beer can. I don't know if that's true. And then another person showed a video of him using his hand like it was nothing. And I didn't see that either. That's not vodka. Trust me. Alex Jones was funny having that guy who pretended to be Clinton's illegitimate son. He held a press conference asking Lewinsky for her blue dress to prove it was his daddy. Oh, Alex Jones, that's another one, huh? Use your finger. 922 wine. Yeah, no, it's not vodka. I'll chug this just to prove it's not vodka. Smart vodka. It's water. Anybody can chug vodka like that? God bless. Get Alex Stein. Dollar Dan, huh? I'm not sure. That name kind of rings a bell. I don't know because, they got this guy, $2 Dan, that's all in this. He was so happy when I met him. Well, that's another problem with John. He was happy that Bob Bowie got busted by the police for the turnstile. He takes such joy in other people's failures. It's really, really, that's not a good quality. That's why he's a bad person. Gilbert was by far my favorite person that was ever on that show. Gilbert would come in the studio, and he's just so weird. He would come in, he'd have his little backpack on, and he'd be all hunched over, and they're like, "Hey, good morning, Gilbert, how are you?" "Oh, okay, all right. You want anything?" "No, thank you." "Can I say?" He didn't like to sit in the green room by himself. He liked to sit in the office with us. But he wouldn't say anything. "No, okay." And then he'd go on the air, and he would just be like, "Wah!" He'd just turn into another person. And we couldn't answer the phones because we were laughing so hard at Gilbert. And it was the same with Billy West. there were times where it was hard to you had to listen to the show because it was relevant to what you were doing, but you also had, a million other plates spinning around, and he basically would make us laugh so hard that we had to stop and take a minute and just let the phones go. What's this now? Jim Starkey, thoughts on Yaki the Tickler? Who doesn't love to elicit laughter from a child? I don't know what that is, but that sounds creepy as fuck. Spinning plates. The one who could who had the best plate spinning. Excuse me, what the hell was that? Water got me going. Gary could spin plates all day long, and then the one, he had so much he had to do while he was there, and I like it was, and then he'd get on the air and get his ass handed to him for a half an hour, and he'd come back and he'd be all flustered, and he used to sit with his back to us, like his office, his desk faced the wall, and me and John were in Howard's office answering phones and everything, and then you would just see Gary just like this after he just got his ass handed to him on the air. Nothing. No. Nothing. Nothing. I see nothing. I know nothing. I wanted to be honest. I understand you had to take comics out to move up in the universe. It's a dog eat dog world. I didn't realize that they were so vicious when it comes to business. Drunken Donuts, I thought I liked you. Hey, starting there spreading bullshit. This isn't. This is not the way I roll. I don't have to really explain myself to anybody when I did not do it. But okay. I just got the official word. If you want to voice tip me, I'm going to have a Tracy Millman voice tip. So I think that something people will like. Drunken Donuts, comics moved up. And what universe are you living in, Drunken Donuts? I thought you were nice, and you're starting shit like that. So that's not cool, man. So yeah, I will have a Tracy Millman super tip, so you can super tip me and yell at me in the Tracy voice. Angry Black, what's up? I don't know. That's a Shuli question. Shuli was in charge of those people. If you're talking about the underdog lady. So, Gina, that wouldn't surprise me. LOL. Everything went downhill once she showed up. Big Black was Vince the Lawyer's noon live stream playing The Wedding, Stuttering John dancing, and Robin dancing with Big Black. I was at the wedding, and it was just that was probably one of the best weddings I ever went to. It was on the beach at the Hamptons. That had a really sick band called the Nerds play, and the brilliant moment where they said I do, and they ran into the ocean. And John instantly lost the $10,000 ring that he just used to get married with. It was, they jumped in the water, and then John came up, and the ring was gone. So maybe that was a little foretelling. Who knows? No, I'm talking about, Tracy. I just got word that I will have Tracy as a super tip voice. I know. I get I appreciate that, Drunken Donuts, but I have nothing to do with these people and they're striking. I know maybe you're coming on a little late, but I have nothing to do with any of that stuff, man. And nor if look, I said this yesterday. John was playing my whole show. He played my whole show. I had people calling me up to strike him, and I didn't. You know what I'm saying? I did not strike John when I could have stricken John. And everybody was going crazy. Steve, you got to do it now. Strike him now. And I didn't. And first of all, I'm sure I could have figured it out, but I don't know how to strike anybody, and nor would I want to. I don't know if you can do that. It's if you take it from a public voice. Listen, if that's the case, but I don't think so. I think it would be funny. Does Ganji dislike John? I'm not going to speak for Ganji. John and Ganji is the nicest person on the planet. Like, I lived with the man for 6 years. He is the nicest person. He doesn't have a hateful bone in his body. Did John treat him like he treated me? Yeah. And it wasn't fun. And, you were never on the same level as John. Like, same level of John. And I don't even think he thought Gary was on the same level as him. Because I don't think he had that much respect for Gary anyway either. So he had no respect for people that he didn't think, like, Jackie, of course, Fred, Robin, and Howard, and anybody else that was important, or anybody else that he can use for his own benefit. That's the way he is. It is highly illegal? Okay, well, I'm going to look into that. We'll find out how that works because I'm definitely not in here to cause like a lawsuit. Douche, yes. Wouldn't that be fun though if I could do that? Douche, yeah. It's so funny now. I'm not tooting my horn or something, but I swear to God that if you the Top Shelf Liquor and douche are the two things that Howard made famous by playing it over and over again with my fight with Tracy. But now I hear Top Shelf used in a lot of things, and I hear douche used in a lot of things. I'm not saying those words didn't exist before, but no one really used them that much. And I think because of Howard now playing that clips, that I see like it, I hear commercials. I'm like, yeah, it's Top Shelf. Being a bartender, it's sort of a bartender term. You know what I'm saying? That we use that as like everything up there on the top shelf is a lot more than the shit down here. And now I hear it in commercials and shit. Not one buyback. No, there was buybacks. It's not illegal to use an AI version of her through voice. Thank you, Mr. 17.5. So, bull what? Not one fucking buyback. Yeah. The real story behind that has been told. Oh, wait. Hold on a second. You want to find out the real story? The real story is in my book. You can buy it on Amazon and Audible. I would love to have Tracy on. And we made up. If you did get my book, there is a picture of me and Tracy. One second. We made up. See that? She's giving me a kiss. So we became friends. We actually, hung out a couple of times at public events, and we had a couple of drinks. We did a couple of shots together, Top Shelf stuff, of course. And it was just, it was just that moment in time. She didn't really want to be in the spotlight, and she was thrust into the spotlight. What's that, Drunken? Grillo, you need to do is call up Tracy and tell her that you will split the tips. She really wants to be left alone in the nicest way possible, and I got to respect that. Let's review the video of Stern's summit meeting that Scott DePace secretly recorded. I had Richie Wilson on, and I don't know who did it, but Shuley had to get permission from John to use his voice on Super Tip. I wouldn't lie, you can get sued. Wait, but John gave him permission to use his voice? I don't know. I'll find out. Just someone involved has been... Steve, I have the Tracy phone call. Play a few clips. Okay. I don't know what Tracy did. I know that she was not in it to get involved on the air. She wanted to just have a good job and work for the greatest radio show at the time. I don't think she ever thought that she'd be thrust into such an iconic douchebag Top Shelf Liquor story that goes down in history that's going to follow me to the grave, and I think it's great. So it doesn't bother me at all. You can say Luigi Greenberg. Okay, I don't mind playing that. It's in chapter 6, is it? I don't even know. Thank you, Drunken Donuts. So I don't know. I guess something's going to be coming up on my media. I'm still learning these things, Top Shelf Tombstone. Artie doing the Tracy voice. Yeah, Artie was just so much fun with that. I always loved when Fred did my voice. Like sometimes I would defer to Fred in the studio. A lot of times I look over to Fred and I'd I'd throw him softballs because I didn't hide the way I talk, but I just loved the way Fred did my impression. That's why, if you guys remember that the Right Fred Said song, "I'm Too Sexy," they wanted me to sing it, but I was like, guys, I think it's much more funnier if Fred. It's much more funnier. Is that right? Is that the right way to say that? It's better that Fred does the song than me, and I think it was much more of a hit when Fred did my voice. I love Fred so much. He was so good to me, and he always he just loved doing my voice, and he was so good at it, and I thought it was funny. He's telling the truth. Super Tips had to change his voice, huh? Well, we'll find out what the real thing is. I don't want to upset Tracy at all. Again, she wants to be left alone, but it would be kind of funny. I don't know. We'll find out. Yeah, Ryan, remember. You are a big fan, huh, Ryan? But I think that Right Fred Said song was like one of the funniest moments. I had to laugh. It was just brilliant. I couldn't get through it. I had to let Fred do it because he did a better job than I did, that's for sure. Holy crap, it's 5 o'clock? Goddamn, kids. Time flies when you're having fun. Shit. Luckily, I don't have any plans. I'm supposed to go Thursday. I'm supposed to go to the premiere of the Ralphie May documentary with Snapple Wendy. I'm kind of excited for that. More funnier than a hungry pelican. Yeah, I had to feed a pelican every day for 8 years. Fred had to work playing in a band. I will tell you, Fred's band is still one of my favorite. His album, I know every word to every song. I have the CD up at my trailer, and I play it. That's like my go-to music. And believe it or not, I hate to say it, Stuttering John's album was pretty goddamn good too. But I have a little more sentimental thing because I used to drive him to Philadelphia all the time because it was made in this guy's garage. And we made it in the garage. So I would basically, after the show, I would drive to Pennsylvania with him. I would sleep on the couch. John would record all night, and then I'd drive back. And I did it for fucking nothing. But yeah, I'd sleep on the guy's couch, and then John would record them. So that's how I kind of knew all the songs and shit. But I was like, I'd be sleeping on this guy's couch. Yeah, that was because of me. You got to understand something, Jim. Scores was my thing. I was friends with Lonnie, the man Hanover. He worked at one of the Club Expo, one of the nightclubs I worked with. He's the reason why Tupac and Mickey Rourke were at the club. That's why I smoked my first blunt with Tupac, was because of Lonnie and Claire O'Connor, God rest her soul. They were partners and publicists at Club Expo, probably 1992 or 93. And then Lonnie left the club for Scores. And Lonnie brought me over to Scores and said, look, Steve, I got this great new thing. I only took the job because they said they give me carte blanche across the board. I could bring anybody who I want in. I don't have a bill, and I get X amount of funny money every night. And I lived on 65th Street. I lived down the block from Scores, like literally less than a 10-minute walk. And I wound up going to Scores like 3 or 4 nights out of the week because Lonnie would be like, are you coming down tonight? You coming down tonight? And at some point, I was like, I didn't want to overstep his kindness. And I'm like, Lonnie, you know what? I'm going to stay home tonight. He goes, well, Steve, I just ordered you a filet mignon, so you better get here before it gets cold. So I would go to Scores, and maybe get a 2-3 hours sleep. And then the next morning, I would be like, did you go out last night? And I go, dude, I went to this great place. Like, all the fucking strippers are like Ford models. Man, this place is unbelievable. So I started bringing everybody from the show there. I think you and Snapple Lady have some electricity together. I watched that show. She is really good. She's my Jewish Vegas mother. She's been nothing but great to me. I love her to death. We went to go see the Michael Jackson movie on Sunday with her and her husband and a comedian by the name of Ant, who doesn't like Stuttering John at all. Ant's a comedian. I don't have his last name specifically, but he worked with John. He was a comedian on The Tonight Show. And we didn't really get a chance for him to tell me his story, but I guess John wrote some shitty things about him in his book. And I don't know anything about that, but I guess he might have been on one of the shows that Wendy was on, like I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, or Celebrity Fit Club. And it's But he's not. He's like retired, and he doesn't want to be have any publicity. He doesn't want to come on the show. He lives a sort of like a different life these days. So, but I met Ant, and I didn't get the whole thing. Is Casey watching this? I don't think so. I literally, I didn't speak to Casey, but we were texting back and forth the other day, and he just says he wants to take a break from all this, or he just doesn't want to do my show. So if that's a nice way of him saying it, maybe it is. But Casey always gets back to me, and I've had some really great times with Casey. Is it true that we're going to charge the name to Taste? What? Is it true that they were going to change the name to A Taste of Grillo? No. Sorry. Snapple glass bottles, great. Yeah, I know, man. My favorite was the mint iced tea. They don't make that anymore. And the glass bottles, yeah, I hate the plastic bottles. I think I might have seen something where they came back. I don't know. What happened to KC? He's definitely off. I think he said he's 9 months sober. Congratulations, KC. I hope you are, because that boy can drink. And I guess he's living his own life. He got a nice little house in Long Island, and he's staying out of the spotlight, according to him. And I consider KC a very good friend. He's always had my back no matter what. The last time I saw him, I went out to his house, and we did a show in his little, I think he bought like an old radio station in Long Island. And I guess he turned the office into his house. And it was pretty cool. So we did a show for like a couple hours, and then we wound up going out to dinner afterwards. There was like a bar or restaurant right down the block from him, which was horrible. And then we chilled and watched movies. I crashed, and then I left in the morning. But that was the last time I seen him, and he looked great. Casey's awesome. I love him. Yeah, if that's the case, I don't know. Jim Sharkey, Hunter went to a Green Day show, and there was a riot, and glass Snapple bottles were flying because they were a sponsor. I had a friend. When he was 16, he hit somebody over the head with a Snapple bottle. Almost went to jail. Yes, Casey is the best. Rever Rage. Left after making breakfast. I don't know what that means, but anyway. So tomorrow, everybody, I'm gonna wrap this up soon. This is great. I didn't think I was gonna do an hour and 47 minutes. You guys are awesome. But tomorrow I'll be back with Jennifer Flowers. Friday I got Antonia Bennett, Tony Bennett's daughter, coming on, and it's going to be Thursday. I'm going to try for Lilo. I think he might have called me while I was on the phone. Lilo Brancata from A Bronx Tale and The Sopranos. And I'm just going to keep booking guests and doing what I'm doing, because that's what I was doing before all this. But I will thank the Dabbleverse for helping me out and getting me some people here. House guests chipping in. He's the best drug addict. I don't know about drugs, but I know Casey liked to drink. It was one of the funniest things was Robin got us to go to that. It was like a 3-day seminar. I forgot what the thing is, sort of like. I can't remember the name, but it's like Scientology. I literally put that place so about 3 days we had to sit there to seminar, and me and Casey went. And the first break, me and Casey ran to the bar and did like 3 shots of Jameson. And I was like, this sucks. We got 2 more days of this shit, Casey. And he didn't say anything. And then as we were walking back, Casey said, I'll be right there. I got to go to the bathroom. And then 20 minutes later, I look over at Casey's chair, and he's gone. He went home. He bailed after the first break. It was like, I'm fucking out of here. Landmark, that's right, Ryan. Thank you, buddy. It's like Scientology. Yeah. So Casey bailed. I was like, you motherfucker. I figured, I did the 3 days because I love Quivers so much. But it was just like, they want you to pay to join, and then you have to recruit more people, and then you have to have quotas of all these people you need to recruit to come to these 3-day seminars. And I was like, oh my God, it was just like. So I tell a story in my book. This guy's going up there, telling about how he realized that he wasn't in love with his wife on the honeymoon, and how they went to Mount Airy Lodge, which is in Pennsylvania, and they had the big champagne hot tub in the room. And all I could think of was like, you're on your honeymoon and there's a champagne hot tub. I turned to the guy next to me and said, if I had a champagne hot tub in my honeymoon, that thing would look like egg drop soup. And the guy got up and left. He moved. So that's for you, Sarma. I want to be honest here. Did you feel something special between you and Snapper Lady? I thought that you guys would definitely been talking after. No, she has a wonderful husband, and that's sort of. Wendy's a very good friend. Beautiful Mount Airy Lodge. Oh, you guys are fun. I'm glad you remember that. So, yeah, they had the champagne hot tub in the bedroom. And I was, shit, if I was on my honeymoon, that shit would look like egg drop soup. And the guy next to me got really disgusted with me and stormed off. But I had to make myself entertained, but... I don't mean to cut you guys off. I got shit I got to do or I want to do. Don't get me wrong. As it was some helpful, felt better, super culture. And yeah, I saw Robin there, but I didn't want to go get a big hug. So wait, did you do it? Hold on. I want to read this now. Don't get me wrong. Some of it was helpful, but it felt super culty. Yes, it did. And yeah, I saw Robin there, but I didn't want to bug her. She's actually pretty approachable, Quivers. She's awesome. I love her. I just wish that we could maintain a friendship, but sometimes the love for her will always be there. You were the best bowling ball on rollerblades ever. Are you talking about me or Quivers? Me and Quivers used to go rollerblading in Central Park, and one day, sometimes you fall and you stumble, and then you fall. Well, Quivers hit like a lip, and she went from here to here in less than a second. But her giant airbags saved her from smashing her face, literally. She got up, and I was like, damn, those titties saved you. She goes, you're right, they did, because she fell, like, on her chest, and she bounced right up. So, big titties to the rescue. Wah. Stem cam glass pool, yes. Who's the cop killer? Sorry, but not cool, dummy. Who's a cop killer? Oh, yeah, that's right. I have that, too. I want to play that, too. That was one of my highlights of my life. How many times, show of hands, how many people always wanted to go down a bowling alley and slam headfirst into the pins? I got to do that. But, okay, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. Punk from, I gotcha. Well, he went to jail for not being a cop killer. He went to jail for some other things and has changed his life around. And he did not go down as a cop killer. But you are correct, Evan. He did get into some bad trouble, and there was a police officer that did lose his life. So I will stand by that. But he is... someone that the Weasel, you want to come on and talk to him? If I do have him on, now you have a place to come and say some shit. I know. White to young Kiki on his show today. No, I don't watch. I know I should probably be watching this. Good day, Grilly. Watch your back. What happened now? Oh, God. I don't support anybody. I support me. I can barely support me. How about that? We'll talk about that because he didn't go to jail for cop killing. But that could be an open discussion. On that note, everybody, someone's taking this down a dark path, and I'm going to say, I'll end this with a high note.